Fresh garden herbs are a must for any kitchen gardener, and herbs have so many health benefits, and also they are pest control in your garden. So that's why it's very important for any gardener to plant herbs, different types of herbs in their kitchen garden. And so today I'll be adding other herbs in my garden. And if you've been here for a very long time, you know I plant different herbs, and I have planted different herbs in my garden. And adding more herbs, it's very important for my kitchen garden. So I prefer planting herbs near my kitchen, just for easy picks, and I prefer that way. So I ordered some more herbs from my favorite herb shop. They're called Valley Gardening on TikTok, so you can also check them out. Also, I'll pin down their contacts if you want to order from them. I can recommend them because they deliver your package immediately. Like for me, I ordered yesterday, and today I was able to pick my package. So today I'll be adding some parsley, some chives, and also they also gave me a free sweet basil. And also I also ordered some hibiscus for tea. I've been really looking for hibiscus for my teas, and because hibiscus, it's very easy to propagate them through seeds. So any crop that you propagate through seeds, it's very easy to spread them in your garden. So if you're a beginner, these are the easiest herbs you can grow in your garden, from the rosemary, the lemongrass, um, from the basil. Any type of basil you can plant, and basil helps to prevent pests, especially if you plant them near the tomatoes. The tomatoes tend to have very nice taste in them. And also basil is very good in soups, so you can consider planting basil, either Thai basil, and also I never knew there is sweet basil, so they sent me sweet basil. I'll give you review on that, how it tastes, because Thai basil has a very strong scent and a very strong taste. I decided to add parsley in my garden because parsley tends to, if you plant parsley, you will harvest parsley for a very long time. It's not like coriander. Coriander tends to die off after some time, especially if you uproot, or as in it cannot stay in your garden for a very long time. But for parsley, you can harvest it for a lifetime. All these herbs that I'm planting are herbs that you can harvest them for a longer period of time in your garden. So it is always worth it when you plant them, because you'll always have herbs in your garden. And because I prefer planting my herbs on one spot and then spread them to other different areas in my garden, because I always prefer them to be in one area for easy picks from the kitchen. So it is my first time planting chives. Chives are very good with, here in the village, most of these herbs, majority of these herbs that I've planted, the only herb you can easily get in the supermarket is the rosemary. But these other ones, I have never seen them in our local supermarket. And for chives, it's easy to consume, it's easy to use with your foods. Most of the time, you can even consume it when it is raw, and it is not like even the spring onions, they have like the aftertaste in your mouth. But for chives, they tend to have very soft, smooth tastes when you use them in your foods. I will also try and see how to propagate it after it has really catch up with the soil and the ground. And so, but for the others, I know it's easier to propagate them. Also, I've started propagating the celery. Celery is a very easy herb also to grow in your farm, and it grows very fast. If you are an organic farmer like me, here we try as much as possible to avoid using chemicals. And if you want to achieve that well as a gardener, you need to plant more herbs that will prevent pests, and also some of the herbs prevent even rodents like the snakes, especially the rosemary. Snakes do not like the smell of rosemary, and also the marigold. So when you plant them, you are sure that you will have prevented most of these rodents in your garden. Inakupenda. So because the hibiscus is a little bit bushy, I will not plant it at my backyard kitchen garden. And so I'll plant it at the front of the garden, and then later on I'll keep on spreading it, because one time I asked in the local supermarket if they have hibiscus, and they say their supplier do not supply them with the hibiscus in time. So I'm really thinking about it in terms of also business, to plant it in excess so that I can also earn some money. So I'll be using the banana stalks to enrich my soil where I'm going to plant the hibiscus, because that area had some rocks, the ones that we used, some ballast, the one that we used for construction. So I've removed like 3 feet of the soil. So I need to add the banana stalks, and then add some soil, and then plant our hibiscus. Banana stalks tend to take a little bit longer to rot, and that means they are very good for making your soil, because the amount of period they will take, the soil will tend to improve each and every time. And when you're doing all this, make sure you can also mix your soil with some wood ash, just to balance the acidity of your soil. So one of you advised me to also use our wild berries for making jam, and that's what we'll be doing today. My son will be harvesting the wild berries as I continue planting the hibiscus. And it is one of the things that I've never thought of it, because wild berries tend to be a little bit tougher than the strawberries. So I'm really looking forward to see how our jam will turn out. This soil is so good. I got this soil from where we burnt charcoal last time. So I'm going to spread it, then add some more soil, some more compost, and then now plant. After some time, you'll see a lot of there'll be a lot of there'll be a very big difference in this soil. And also, plants tend to grow very fast in charcoal soil, and also in what do you call it? Charcoal soil, and also soil that has been mixed with wood ash.
Niwache viatu. Saa zingine nataka tu kutembea hivyo. Umeniletea viatu? Ileta. Thank you. Umeona mama asitembee asikanyange chini. Sawa, thank you. Santi. Nataka kupanda hibiscus. Sema hibiscus. Hii ni hibiscus. Kwa tunakunywa chai na wewe. Tutakuwa tunakunywa chai na wewe. Mimi na S.
And the fact that there are some flowers coming out, I'm super excited about it, because it means I will start harvesting the flowers very soon. So as my son continues to harvest the wild berries, let me work on our strawberries. So strawberries are the best in making jam. If you go to the supermarkets, most of the jams are either mixed fruits or the strawberries. So when I planted my strawberries, I did not focus first in removing the runners, and that means they slowed their production. So recently I removed all the runners so that the plant can now focus on fruiting. Now, when strawberries start fruiting, they are not supposed to, the fruits are not supposed to sit on floor on the mud or on the soil, so you're supposed to mulch them so that the fruits can lie on top of the mulch. So I'm using sawdust, and the good thing about using a sawdust or any mulch, it means after some time it will rot, and that means it will improve your soil and your soil will be fertile. So when you're planting strawberries, you're supposed to let them grow for like a year or 2 years when you're harvesting your fruits. Then the third year, you're supposed to let them now produce more runners for them to now propagate to new strawberry fruits. And also, strawberries really love a lot of manure. So if you want them to produce big fruits, make sure you feed them with a lot of manure. Or if you're not doing organic farming or you're doing large scale farming, just feed them with a lot of fertilizer. But for here, because we do organic farming, I always apply or pour manure every single time, so that and you can also realize with how healthy our strawberries look like. And they are also expensive here in the supermarket. So that means if I manage to get to know how to completely grow them on large scale, it means I will earn some money with strawberry farming. So I'm hopeful that this patch of strawberry in this section will be able to give me enough fruits that I can also either sell or make a lot of jam also to sell, or any other. So I'm really hopeful on that. So most of the berries drop down because birds tend to eat them, and then most of the seeds or the berries drop on the ground. So this time round, if our jam turns out good and well, I'm going to be harvesting. I think after 2 days we harvest, either after 3 days we harvest, because they ripen every single time, and this is the season. This is the perfect time for them because they are producing a lot of fruits.
Yeah, at least. Good job.
So I've made jam like I think 4 times or 3 times with the mango, and then I've made mixed fruit. For making jam, it's not so hard. You only need three ingredients: your fruit, your sugar, and some lemon. So make sure you mix your fruit, your sugar, some good amount of sugar, and then some lemon. If you feel like the consistency of your jam is a little bit heavy, you can also add some water, just a little bit of water, so that it does not become too heavy to spread in your bread. So for me, I'm going to add sugar and then some lemon. Lemon tends to act also as a preservative, and also it brings out a very nice sour taste in your jam. Not too much lemon, because if it is too much, the sourness will be a lot, and most of the time for the kids, it's not good for the kids. The kids will tend to not take your jam. So let your mixture boil until your strawberries soften, and because my strawberries are wild berries, they will take a little bit longer than the other strawberries. The other strawberries are softer even when you harvest, but these ones are a little bit harder, so they'll take a little bit longer. That's why I covered them, just to fasten their cooking. I'm just trying to see if they're a little bit soft, so that when we blend, they do not they mash very fast. So you can decide to just use a masher or a hand blender, or just the normal blender that we use, and then you blend your mixture until it is smooth, or you can decide to leave a little bit of some chunks in it, and then your jam will be ready. And I think I've tried with this consistency. I think it has turned out really well, and it is not too runny, and it is not also too heavy. I think I've gotten also a good way of making use of our wild berries. So let me store in our container, and then the rest I'm going to just store it in a smaller uh, container, so that we'll be using that immediately, and then the rest we'll use for I'm going to keep it in the fridge. So let me see how it spreads with the bread, and also to taste, to see how it tastes. I am always not a fan of store-bought jam, so I'm hopeful that now this one will make me eat bread, because I rarely take bread, because maybe either if I make a sandwich, but just plain bread with jam, I rarely do that. Yeah. Yes. What do you want? Tamu kushinda ya nini yako. Chini kwa fridge. Thank you. Cup. Sasa itafaa mimi nitakula mkate, lakini hizi zingine